You have to look at here is a play action. That's going to hold everything in the middle. You see how they ran that stretch play, then they faked that stretch play. Then they bring Marvin Harrison across from the left side, and he goes in that area that was vacated by the guys that went for the play action fake.
First down and 10, 46-yard line. This time they give it to Edgerrin James. They give it to James, or they run a lot of play fakes. Manning, 40% of his passes this year have come from what's called play action. You fake the run, you throw the pass, and it's the most in the league. There it is. Peyton on top, double the league average. So in other words, 1 out of every 5 passes in the league includes a play fake. And as you can see, Culpepper is right about the league average.
You know, it was surprising last week. They were way behind to Kansas City. They were still running play action fakes, and Kansas City was still going for them. At some point, you have to say, hey, the guy has to pass. Forget the play action.
Second down and 7. Manning throws. What a catch by Harrison. What a grab. Winfield with the coverage. How did he bring that one in?
I don't know. He has great hands. You know, you always say, what are hands? Someone to catch the ball. Hands are when both hands work together. When the hands go down, both of them go together. You just come out there and just pluck that ball out of the air. Peyton Manning, he just knows that. I mean, he has so much confidence in Marvin Harrison. He knows if he gets it close, Harrison will get it.
So in rapid order, they have moved the ball from their own 13 to the Viking 35. Through the middle, knocked away. Trying to get it into Dallas Clark, and that's Brian Russell, the safety, to bat it.
Yeah, this is why the play action pass is so effective. As you look here, and you're going to see the run. You see him come back, look the ball into his hand, and then on the right is a play action pass. See, he puts it in there, and right now you have to believe it's a run. On the left, it's a run. On the right, it's a play action fake. He looks at the run, and then he studies that and tries to make the same move on the play action fake that he does on the run.
Just buys that fraction of a second that very often makes the difference. And again, the fake there. Clark makes the catch. It'll be first down and goal from the 9. 27 yards.
When you're a play action fake team, you can play action fake all the time. Most teams won't do it from the shotgun. You watch here, the Colts are in the shotgun. He does a play action fake first. That holds the line, and then he gets Dallas Clark in behind. You see how it just holds that linebacker for a step, and that lets Dallas Clark get in behind him.
That linebacker was Michael Mathiel. First down and goal, under 3 to play in the 3rd. Through the middle. James gets about half the distance. Second and goal to put it down probably just inside the 5-yard line. This drive has now consumed 83 yards.
Yeah, that was a start. Remember the first 2 times the Colts had the ball, they scored touchdown. And then they had some bad things. They had penalty and punt, and then they had the penalty with the false start.
Number 1 in the league in the red zone. 2 red zone touchdowns tonight. Second down and goal from the 4. Fake throw. Clark. Touchdown.
Yeah, the tough thing when you're down that close, you have to get turned around quickly. Watch, see, he turns his back to the play, then he has to turn around and locate Clark. Watch him here. He turns his back to him, and then he's going to cut. See, he turns his back, then he has to turn around. He looks out to the left, and he finds Dallas Clark. So that was kind of a 3rd read. Boom, turn, look out to the left, and then come back inside.
Vanderjagt tacks on the extra point. 3rd touchdown of the season for Clark. Manning has hit 6 different receivers for touchdowns this season. His 25th TD pass of the year. Colts by 7.
Fly ball, deep drive to left field, and it's gone right now. Out of here. Home run, Manny Ramirez. He was due, and he got one. Swinging a drive right field. Backing up Walker. Turning around. It's into the bullpen, and the Sox have done it again. But Ortiz came up big last night. Rips that one to right field down the line for extra bases. Ramirez touches second on his way to third. Ortiz heading to second base. Manny pulls up to third and stops there. He's swinging. High fly ball right center field. Very deep. It's sailing. It's off the wall. He swung on 3-0. He drives in 2. Ground ball back to the mound. Falk with it. Got him at first base. They are champions of the world.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Who will prevail in the African Champions League semi-finals, and will it be an all-Tunisian final? Join Tommy Smith, Janusz Mihalik and me for the next edition of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass on Friday, right here on ESPN.
Well, the Colts have regained the lead over the Vikings. The points starting to fly up on the scoreboard here in the third quarter. A 7-point advantage for Indianapolis at home against Minnesota. Late third quarter.
Hunter Smith's kick is short hopped at the 10-yard line by Derek Ross. Brought down up at the 29-yard line. So after the Vikings tied the game, they now trail by 7 again. In comes Culpepper with 2 minutes and 1 second to play in the third. 7-point Indy lead.
I'm Marty Reed, and this is another U.S. Nationals memory. The year is 1982. Shirley Muldowney finds herself in the Top Fuel final, racing former companion and crew chief Connie Coletta. Muldowney wins what she then called the race of her life, winning the 1982 U.S. Nationals.
You don't have to miss American college football anymore. ESPN Game Plan gives fans the games they want all season long right on your computer. ESPN Game Plan is the only online pay-per-view package that offers maximum college football. Just log on to ESPN.com and click on the Game Plan logo, and you've got over 150 of the best games in the college football season. Games are live and archived. You can watch any game, anytime. Log on to ESPN.com, click on the Game Plan logo, or search Game Plan. Simply the finest football on the planet. ESPN continues full-day coverage of the UEFA Champions League all the way through the championship game in May. ESPN, the home of the UEFA Champions League.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
That's a familiar sight to the Vikings. I mean, this looks like this is a twin of their stadium. Teflon-coated fiberglass roof, RCA Dome. Vikings, of course, play in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Same type of building. Ball at the 29, same type of noise, except it goes in the other direction tonight. And on first down, the pass is caught by Jermaine Wiggins, and he turns that into a 9-yard gain, diving over Nick Harper. Second down and 1.
Yeah, that was one of the things that the Vikings wanted to do tonight is run a little more and then get their own play-action pass going, and then eventually go for the big plays off the play-action pass, and that's kind of in lieu of having Randy Moss.
And Moss out with a hamstring. Had played a couple of cameos in the last couple of games, but he'll be out tonight for sure next Sunday, and who knows after that. Look at that. Culpepper out of a rocking chair hits Jermaine Wiggins, who had all that time. The line did a wonderful job. Bob Sanders makes the tackle, but the ball is in Colt territory, and it's a first down.
You know, he had Marcus Robinson down here in the left side, and they were trying to do just what we were talking about, go play action pass and go for a big one. He was looking out here to the left of Marcus Robinson. He didn't have anything there, but he had great pass protection, and he was able to come back to the right. But he tried to get the big one. He tried to go for the bomb to Robinson.
Final minute, third quarter, from the 46-yard line. On the ground, this is Bennett, who can't get out of his own tracks. Bennett had been hurt first part of the season. Made a big splash when he came in from Wisconsin. About as fast as any running back in the league. You
know, here's one thing. You know, we talk about playing without Randy Moss. This is one thing you wouldn't see with Randy Moss. The 8th man in the box, or the safety coming up. To see Bob Sanders coming up there to help to stop the run, having the extra guy. If Randy Moss were there, you don't play that defense against the Vikings.
I remember when you said not only is he great, but he's the best decoy in the league too.
And that's what I think they're really missing here now.
2nd and 12. Very slow developing and risky play, but it turns out to be a good play for the Vikings as Bennett makes the catch and turns what would have been a loss or maybe a fumble pending this penalty call here. There's a flag down into a good gain. There's a flag down. Austin has just signaled end of the quarter, but now he has to check with one of the other officials to see what the call is here. It would be.
Foul on the play, holding 78 near the line. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down. Third quarter is over.
Matt Burke. It'll be interesting to see if we get anything on mic'd up after this. So back they come. The third quarter is over. 21-14 Indianapolis, and Monday Night Football resumes after this message from our ABC stations.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in two-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
We take you to the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships, where Ghost Zapper dominated the $4 million Classic. Jockey Javier Castellano led the charge as Ghost Zapper cruised to a 3-length victory with a record time of 1 minute 59 seconds. ESPN celebrates Javier Castellano and Ghost Zapper, our athletes of the week.
For the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
ESPN presents the best of Friday night fights. In 2001, Julio Cesar Gonzalez was undefeated and in search of a world title bout. He'd get his chance later that year after facing Julian Lederloh in a 12-round bout. Friday on ESPN.
Al Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya. Monday Night Football, the Indiana State Capitol here in Indianapolis, and a few blocks away inside the dome. Tony Dungy's team, the Colts, on top 21-14. On that last play that ended the third period, the gain was 23 yards total, but only 6 yards at the spot of the foul. It resulted in a 10-yard penalty. Thus, it is 2nd down and 16 as we start the fourth quarter for Culpepper and the Vikes from their own 48-yard line. and the ball is handed off to Bennett across the 50. So we have Burt mic'd up on that last play at the end of the third, and the penalty call and all of the rest. And here it is, audio and video.
If I got my hands inside and I run over the top of them.
Yeah, but you yanked them down.
No, I went over the top. I landed on. How did I yank them down? I went over the top. I was on top of them.
You can't do that. You gotta let them go.
Let him go. This is football.
He's right. You have to let him go. That's when you let a defensive guy go. Although he did have a hold of him with his right hand.
Jeff Bergman was the line judge. It was pretty clear when we looked at it again. The penalty was the right call, and Culpepper flings one to the 30-yard line. That's hauled in again by Jermaine Wiggins, having a good night. That's 18 yards, and Wiggins has caught 5 balls tonight for 63. Back to Burke.
See, here he is. Now watch that right hand. He's blocking Bob Sanders, and you see him grab it there, and then the official was right. He did pull him down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he thought that he had his hands inside. You know, that's a rule on pass protection. If your hands are inside, it's okay, but you still can't have your hand on his shoulder and grab that shoulder and pull him down.
Cameron knows all. Ontario Smith, who saw a lot of action early, but none recently, sees plenty here. Breaking tackles Smith, who started the game, and they went to him on a number of carries early. Then he was on the bench, and he has seen very sparing action in the second half, but he's back in the game with a flourish.
Matt Burke kind of comes back. They do a real good job of blocking right here in the middle. And you see Burke and Dixon, they get a double team, and Ontario Smith is able to run right off that. I think Tyson thought that he was going to have a big game tonight. We talked to him last night.
4th round pick out of Oregon last year. 1st and goal from the 10. Smith. We talked about it before, the Vikings with David Thornton making the tackle. The Vikings, 3 very good running backs. We know about Michael Bennett and his speed. Smith showing us what he could do last year and early this year before he had to sit out the 4 games with a suspension. And we talked about the kid, Moreeeee Moore, with the knee injury, who came on out of nowhere, drafted from Tulane, who gave them a lot of burst in the month of October.
Right, and I think it's a combination of 3 things. Those guys are pretty good running backs. They have a good offensive line, and then the Moss factor that would a lot of times let you play against 10 men on defense.
2nd down and goal, split back set here. And that's a little flip out to Mo Williams out of the backfield. And a big 3rd and goal coming up now from the 7-yard line.
And he had to flip it out to Mo Williams on that one because Dwight Freeney was right on him. And that's the thing, you know, sometimes you say, why don't you hold the ball? Why don't you throw it in the end zone? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And if you look here, they try and double. Culpepper at that moment had to get rid of the ball.
Dante 13 of 16 for 146 tonight. And the Vikings will spread it out. Only Culpepper in the backfield in the shotgun. 3rd down and goal. 5 wide receivers. And the pass is caught for a touchdown just across the goal line by Nate Burleson. Sat down just inside the end zone and hauled it in for the score.
And you watch Dante Culpepper, he's really feeling comfortable now. And as he told us, he said when his offensive line is giving him protection, he gets comfortable in the pocket. And you can see that throw. And the way he looks, finds his guy, drills the ball in there. He is very comfortable in the pocket, especially to get 5 guys spread out and go back there and shotgun. Those guys had to protect well.
Goes to his knees at the goal line. Morton Anderson bangs it through. And with 11:27 remaining in regulation, things really heating up now. 21-21 in Indiana.
Touchdown. Here's Leftwich stepping up. Leftwich throwing. Intercepted. Picked up by Tamakis Vegas. Out twist for the score.
Dorsey short set and throws, and it's intercepted. Nathan Vasher, the backup corner with a pick. Vasher with blockers in front. He'll go for the touchdown, Chicago Bears.
finish with a birdie. The $10 million season, first time ever on tour. Vijay Singh wins number 9.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Who will prevail in the African Champions League semi-finals, and will it be an all-Tunisian final? Join Tommy Smith, Janusz Mihalik and me for the next edition of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass on Friday, right here on ESPN.
Coming up for Week 10 Sunday Night Football here on ESPN, the Buffalo Bills, fresh off their upset of the Jets, take on defending Super Bowl champion, the New England Patriots. Don't miss it here on the worldwide leader in sports.
Drive. One period lapping over into the other. 71 yards. Burleson, who had that 91-yard return, right now is the key guy for the Vikings tonight. Catches that one there. Burleson tonight, just that one catch for the touchdown. Kick fielded 7-yard line. Dominique Rhodes. Good run back to midfield, and finally it's Elling, the kicker. Flag is down, and Elling is down too. When the kicker makes the tackle very often, that is the end result. He is the kickoff guy because Morton Anderson just doesn't have the leg for those boots, and right now Elling looks to be, I don't want to say seriously hurt, but he really took a whack.
Holding, number 98, during the run back, 10 yards, first down.
Robert Mathis, let's check in with Michelle.
Al, when you want to talk about quarterbacks, you call Joe Montana. I spoke with Montana earlier today to get his thoughts on this matchup. He called Peyton Manning a steady player, a great competitor, but he said, unfortunately, he kind of reminds me of Danny, referring to Marino, in that he can put up a lot of points, but you can't outscore everyone. Of Dante Culpepper, he said he's amazed by his size and mobility. He said, I can't believe these guys are so large and so fast. I wish I could have moved like that. Imagine.
Imagine if Montana was that size.
No, and they probably wish that they could do a lot of things that Joe Montana could do, and that was getting rid of the ball and accuracy and being a leader and a winner.
Still working on Elling. Elling trying to tackle Dominique Rhodes.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, they go to their knees, they close their eyes, they cross their legs, they do everything wrong, and then they stay in a flinch position. I mean, you know, kickers in all due respect, you know, they just kind of practice kicking. They don't practice the football parts of football.
I was going to ask you, I mean, how much tackling work would a kickoff guy get? Any?
No, none. I mean, you know, they get some form stuff or they go through stuff, but you can see that, you know, that he wasn't too excited about having to do that, and most of them aren't. I mean, the last thing any kicker that I know wants to do is to have to make a tackle.
So Morton Anderson will, I'm sure, assume the kickoff duties. There he is. Elling is also the guy who would kick long field goals, because Morton's range right now is only about 45, 46 yards. First and 10 for Indianapolis now from the 35-yard line. Manning dumps it underneath. Caught by James up to the 47-yard line. Edgerrin has a first down.
Yeah, that's the thing that you always have to do against this Colt team. You know, as you worry about the wide receivers, and the wide receivers getting downfield and the speed of them, so you're giving them depth. You don't want to get beat deep, and you leave a lot of underneath stuff open for Peyton Manning. They haven't gone to Reggie Wayne in a while, have they?
Well, now that you mention it, look for it. Gain of about a yard here. Tony Dungy, take a look at this. In his career, in the history of the league, most wins, no losses in games in which a coach is led by 14 or more. Dungy, perfect. Brian Billick, perfect. Mike Holloway, the old New England, when they were the Boston Patriots coach, 2 ties, no losses. So Dungy is in that position here where his team early led by 14. Edgerrin James to the 37-yard line.
You know, and a lot of that with Tony Dungy was the defense that he had at Tampa. And then he comes here, and it's the offense he has here with the Colts, because they can score so quickly. They're never out of any game. And again, if you want to play pass, they'll run. If you want to play run, they're going to pass. And look at this guy. I mean, he just has moves on moves, doesn't he? Like, he's pointing to someone, telling someone to do something.
And that's 106 yards for Edgerrin James tonight, who's averaging close to 5 yards per carry. 1st and 10 from the 38. Manning's going to throw it outside to James, and James escapes a would-be tackle for a 7-yard gain. Lance Johnstone could not bring him down. Edgerrin James, a little more about EJ.
A reminder to check your local listings tonight and every night for your next edition of Sports Center. We recap all the top stories from around the world of sports, all the scores and highlights right here on the Worldwide Leader Sports. Plenty of highlights in tonight's Monday Night Football game as the Vikings and Colts are locked up in a battle in the 4th quarter.
Edgerrin James, and here he is again. It's the Edgerrin James show. To the 20-yard line, and another 1st and 10. Most yards from scrimmage per game, it's Edgerrin James. For guys who played a minimum of 50 games, or the equivalent of a little bit more than 3 seasons, Jim Brown and LaDainian Tomlinson, 129.3, and tonight 118 alone for him, and 33 through the air. 1st and 10, 20-yard line. Dominique Rhodes started to go to the other side. Manning says no.
I think Minnesota only has 10 guys out there on defense. And they have had no linebacker play at all on this drive.
Tie game, costly timeout. We'll see.
Fly ball, deep drive to left field, and it's gone right now. Out of here. Home run, Manny Ramirez. He was due, and he got one. Swinging a drive right field. Backing up Walker. Turning around. It's into the bullpen, and the Sox have done it again. But Ortiz came up big last night. Rips that one to right field down the line for extra bases. Ramirez touches second on his way to third. Ortiz heading to second base. Manny pulls up to third and stops there. He's swinging. High fly ball right center field. Very deep. It's sailing. It's off the wall. He swung on 3-0. He drives in 2. Ground ball back to the mound. Falk with it. Got him at first base. They are champions of the world.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN. ESPN presents the best of Friday Night Fights. In 2001, Julio Cesar Gonzalez was undefeated and in search of a world title bout. He'd get his chance later that year after facing Julian Lederloh in a 12-round bout. Friday on ESPN.
21-21. Blackjack. 8:11 remaining in regulation. Mike Tice, 3rd year. Tony Dungy, 3rd year here. 6 at Tampa Bay, 9th year in the league. 14-0 was the score at one point. Indy leading. Minnesota tied it. Monument Circle again. Indy retook the lead. Minnesota tied it. And now it's 1st and 10 at the 20 after the Minnesota timeout because they had only 10 men on the field. Dominique Rhodes in the backfield, and he is stopped after a gain of 1. They're in the red zone at the 19-yard line.
And as you say, this is the best team probably in football in the red zone. I mean, they practice this a lot. The whole thing, they have packages. They can go 2 tight ends to get you here. In this case, they got 3 wide receivers. Stokely in the slot here to the left.
Second and 9. They brought James back into the game. And Manning has this luxury in the no huddle. I mean, the play clock is still at 8. You can do a lot of things, shift a lot of people. Second down and 9 out of the shotgun throws. It is caught by Pollard. And now Pollard's going to try to wrest the ball away. A touchdown has been signaled. A 19-yard touchdown, as Pollard had it wrested away, but after he had possession and after he had crossed the goal line.
Yeah, you say, why does Peyton Manning do all that stuff? He's up at the line of scrimmage. He calls. He changes a play. He gets from the T formation into the shotgun. This is why. Look, he gets in the shotgun. He's looking all the way for Pollard. He looks to the outside, doesn't have anything out there, knows that Pollard is the next guy in, and he hits him perfectly.
Vanderjagt. Colts have now scored a touchdown 20 times in their last 21 trips into the red zone. Pollard 2 catches tonight, both for touchdowns. Colts by 7.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in 2-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
Touchdown. Here's Leftwich stepping up. Leftwich throwing. Intercepted. Picked up by He's made it. Untouched for the score.
Dorsey short set and throws, and it's intercepted. Nathan Vasher, the backup corner with a pick. Vasher with blockers in front. He'll go for the touchdown, Chicago Bears.
Brockman jumped off sides on that line, and Green's got a free down to the end zone. Caught by Tony Gonzalez. His second touchdown reception today.
How about finish with a birdie? The $10 million season, first time ever on tour. BJ Singh wins number 9.
Who will prevail in the African Champions League semi-finals, and will it be an all-Tunisian final? Join Tommy Smith, Janusz Mihalik and me for the next edition of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass on Friday, right here on ESPN.
Peyton Manning looking over the notes and pictures and going over things with Tom Moore on the bench. Manning tonight, 4 touchdown passes. He threw 5 against Kansas City and lost last week. Pollard has caught 2 balls, both for touchdowns. James 45 yards from scrimmage on that drive.
You know, Tom Moore, he calls those plays and he has that play chart. The game's at 9 o'clock. He gets here at 3 o'clock and starts practicing calling plays.
There's an offside on the Colts. They were offside, so this is Kelly Campbell. And Campbell now brings it back up to the 40, and a flag comes down at the end of the play. So the kicking team was offside, and then there's a flag as the tackle is being made.
So when the kicking team was offside, that really gives you a free return, because if you don't like your return, you can have them kick it over again. But then this penalty could be against the return team.
Jerry Austin. We know what one call was for sure. And we can probably tell what the other call is by Mike Tice's expression. Or which team it's going to be against.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 29 of the kicking team. Illegal block from behind. number 37 of the receiving team. Those penalties will offset at the spot of the receiving team's foul. First down.
Dante Culpepper ready to go to work again.
I'm Marty Reed, and this is another U.S. Nationals memory. It's 1978, and Tom the Mongoose McEwen enters the U.S. Nationals in spite of his son's death from leukemia just weeks earlier. Don the Snake Prudhomme encouraged McEwen to enter the Nationals as a form of therapy, and ironically, the two would meet in the final. A career best run carried the Mongoose to a courageous win over the Snake, and McEwen became 1978 U.S. Nationals champion.
Catch all the exciting, hard-hitting action of NFL American football all season long on ESPN.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN. ESPN presents the best of Friday Night Fights. In 2001, Julio Cesar Gonzalez was undefeated and in search of a world title bout. He'd get his chance later that year after facing Julian Lederloh in a 12-round bout. Friday on ESPN.
Okay, the officials have been in conference since we went to break. In this situation, Minnesota has an option because they got the ball with, in effect, clean hands on the offside on the kick, the offside of the Colts. So they could either have a re-kick despite the fact they were penalized, or take the result of the play with the penalty. And that is what they have done. They could have either had the Colts re-kick from the 30-yard line with the dual fouls, or what they have chosen to do is take the penalty at this particular spot, 35-yard line.
Yeah, because they do have good field position.
35 is good field position, and look out, all of a sudden that field position is not very good thanks to Dwight Freeney, who does it again, but there's another penalty marker down.
Offside, 93 defense, 5 yards. It's still first down.
So all that, and it's going to be 1st and 5 instead of 2nd and about 19.
I was going to say, he's just too quick for McKinney over here, but here he jumped off sides because he got by McKinney before McKinney got out of his stance, and you have to say, I've never seen that quickness or that tackle be that slow, but maybe Dwight Freeney left a little before the ball was snapped.
He might have, but that was not an obvious offside. I mean, it was almost perfect. 1st and 5. Culpepper again comes back this way. That's going to be a first down. Ball is caught by Ontario Smith, and he goes out of bounds up at about the 48-yard line.
There are a couple things NFL quarterbacks have to do now is they have to be able to move a little, in the pocket to buy some time, and they have to be able to throw from all angles. And that's what Dante Culpepper did then. I mean, you're not going to get that perfect drop back, that perfect set every time. Sometimes you're going to be in some imperfect feet position, but you still have to make a good throw.
Meanwhile, Culpepper a perfect second half, 9 for 9. 1st and 10, ball at the 48-yard line. Smith over the 50, so they're at the Indianapolis 49-yard line. Back and forth this game has gone tonight with 6 minutes to play in regulation. Peyton Manning, 245 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dante Culpepper, 162, then 1 touchdown. There's Edgerrin James, 118 yards on the ground, 33 more. Receiving, Burleson, the big play, 91-yard punt return, 8-yard touchdown reception. And it's a 7-point game. Ball at the 49, second down and 7. Colts showing blitz, and again there's action up front. And it's going to be against Minnesota.
74 offense, 5 yards. It's still second down.
Bryant McKinney.
Yeah, that was Bob Sanders, that safety we've been talking about, has been coming up quite a bit against the Vikings and becoming that 8th man up. He comes up that time and he fakes like he's going to blitz, and he gets McKinney to jump. Watch him come up here. You see him, McKinney can't hold. He's thinking that I have a blitz coming, plus I have Freeney and his speed on my outside. I better get started.
Freeney and McKinney know each other, of course, from college, Syracuse and Miami. And this is Smith busting tackles, losing his helmet, and taking the ball back to the 50-yard line.
Hey, one thing, I'm impressed with this Colt defense. You know, we talked about that earlier, like Tony Dungy said, you know, we're not a very good defense. We got a lot of young players. We play good on this turf, and we have to tackle better. They're doing those things tonight.
They came into the game last in defense, which means they've given up the most yards. Last in pass defense and 14th in rushing defense. 3rd down and 8. Crowd roaring. Culpepper to the near side here, and that's going to be a little short of the first. Marcus Robinson made the catch. Was the play whistle dead? It was. Head linesman comes in, and there he is, number 48 to the right, and says the play was dead at the 43-yard line.
Now what does Mike Tice do? This is a very interesting situation here. You don't get the first down. You still have plenty of time. You go for it on 4th down in this field position. Mike Tice has already made the decision they're going to go for it.
I think they have to. In this situation, 4th down and 1, 43-yard line, but they're going to take a timeout first, and that's their second. So it becomes even more compelling for Minnesota to convert here with just 1 timeout left. 4th and 1, and the play of the game coming up when we come back.
Hello there. In the past, I, along with others, have been critical of how slow the English FA were when it came to suspending players. Remember the saga with Rio Ferdinand, which went on and on and on. All that is now in the past. Now we fast-track what happens in England. In fact, fast-track is the name of their new initiative. This new deal means that players are now serving their suspension almost as soon as they're sent off. Take the case of Ruud van Nistelrooy. He had a horrible tackle on Arsenal's Cole. No red card in the offering. In steps the FA. They felt that Ruud deserved getting it done. No more indecision or delays hanging over players' heads. I think it's good for the players, clubs, and for football in general. What do you think about fast track? That's what's in the Along Your Bag this week, and I'm Tommy Smith with a Y.
Simply the finest football on the planet. ESPN continues full-day coverage of the UEFA Champions League all the way through the championship game in May. ESPN, the home of the UEFA Champions League.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
So following the timeout for Minnesota, it's 4th down and 1. The ball is at the Indianapolis 43-yard line. The Vikings have 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning, so it becomes very important for them to convert here. And they come up in a tight formation. Extra tight end in. Fake. Culpepper's going to run it himself, and he's going to get the first down and about 7 yards more. as he takes the ball to the 34-yard line, rolling to his right, picks up 9, first down Vikings.
You know, that's the advantage of Dante Culpepper in short yardage. You can have him right here as a passer. He can still throw the ball there, or he can tell the guy, you block, I'm going to run it for the first down. That gives you the two-way go. See, it's an option. It could have been a pass, but when he sees that he can make the first down there, there's no need to throw it.
Ball at the 34-yard line. They spread it out. 5 receivers, and Dante's going to run it again on a draw and slides to a stop at the 24-yard line, enough for a first down.
You know, everyone that plays defense against the Minnesota Vikings will tell you the closer you get to the goal line, the more dangerous Dante Culpepper is as a runner. So you try and contain him, you try and do all those things, but then you don't cover. So then you try and cover, and you give him some pretty big holes to run in down here.
Pick your poison. From the 23-yard line. Smith, hard running, inside the 10, dives for the touchdown. Ontario Smith, who saw a lot of action early, almost no action in the middle of the game, and now he's the man again out of the backfield. 24 yards, and he's gained 80 yards in the game, and they're an extra point away from tying it up.
Watch this. They're going to pull Matt Burke and David Dixon. They pull both the right guard and their center. Watch the block right there that Burke gets. That's the one that frees Ontario Smith. That's pretty good when you get that big old 350-pound guard and 330-pound center pulling around the end.
Extra point by Anderson is good. Ontario Smith picked a pretty good time for his first rushing touchdown of the season. And we're tied 28-28.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in two-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week only on ESPN.